Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this post, I want to talk about what's going on with the Confederate flag right now. I will show you that the creators of the Confederate flag are the exact same people who've created the U.S. flag, the same flag that is not getting any criticism right now. Right now, all the criticism's on the Confederate flag, while the U.S. flag's getting a free pass. For everyone saying that the Confederate flag stands for hate, racism, war, I want to know what the U.S. flag stands for. What does the U.S. flag stand for? A nation that's been at war for almost every single year of its existence? A nation that came to power on a genocide? A nation that came to power on slavery? A nation that still oppresses minorities and the poor? It's almost the exact same as this Confederate flag. It almost even looks the exact same, and like I said, I'm going to show you that the makers of the Confederate flag are the Freemasons, the same people who made the U.S. flag. It's all by the numbers. Both flags have the exact numbers. It's deeper than you know. We're going to connect this internationally. We're not just going to look at the United States. If you're new to my work, some of my oldest posts are about how the New World Order, as people like to call it, is really the Old World Order. And this nation was established by that New World Order hundreds of years ago. All right, so let's just jump into it. One of the first headlines I saw about this Confederate flag was that Walmart was going to stop producing. Walmart, no more flags. Notice the gematria of Walmart, Truth Seeker. It sums to 88. And what does Walmart do? It exploits poor people, ignorant people. Everybody who shops at Walmart is ignorant. There's not a single intelligent person who's ever made a purchase at Walmart. You're listening to the voice of somebody who's never bought anything at Walmart, because I've always known what Walmart and these big box retailers are about. Walmart is the worst among them. You want to know why people are out of work and wages have been driven down? Look no further than these giant corporate retailers who buy all their merchandise from slave labor overseas, try to employ people here with no wages, no benefits, and sell their gear for pennies on the dollar. People flying their U.S. flags made in China all over the nation. No joke. Anyway, Walmart, Uncle Sam, Poison, Program, George Washington, they all sum to 88. So does Star Spangled Banner, which we'll get to. Notice the gematria of Confederate flag. In Jewish gematria, it sums to 333. It was the flag of Dixie. Dixie has a gematria of 33. Notice here the word Confederate alone has a gematria of 96, like Freemason. Freemason equals 96, Satanism equals 96, knowledge equals 96. The Freemasons believe in ruling through dividing and conquering. And that's what the Civil War was. That's what essentially every war is. Dividing people over nonsense, having them fight against each other for an agenda that is not their own. All throughout history. People falling for war. Every soldier on every battlefield in our lifetime has been a sheep or forced to be there unwillingly. No exceptions. Notice the gematria of the word flag. It has the same gematria as God in simple English. Flag worship, God worship. Right now, this debate is getting very heavy after the church shooting in South Carolina. South Carolina equals 156, just like the name Walter Scott. The man shot in South Carolina 74 days before the church shooting. I put it up here for you to see, Truth Seeker. All throughout history, stories have been synchronized by the numbers. With regards to 33, it also has a gematria of 156, and I will show you the 33 connections to the Confederate flag, the U.S. flag, and more. Very important number in flags. Notice the media put out this image. This is Dylan Stormroof, a name that sums to 74 in gematria. Again, the church shooting came 74 days after the Walter Scott shooting. This boy was supposedly arrested on Interstate 74. He's got the Confederate flag in his hand. He's wearing a shirt with the number 88 on it. The words poison and program equal 88. It also has the word Cleveland here, Truth Seeker. Can you see that? Cleveland? Cleveland equals 33. The same coding in his shirt is the same coding in the flag and the Star-Spangled Banner, Truth Seeker. Going back in history, it was a man named Nikola Marshall, a German American, who designed the Confederate flag. And interestingly enough, he died at the age of 88 years old. Notice the name Nikola is 26, like flag, like God. Marshall, with his very curious spelling, you don't usually see Marshall with a C in there, but with that C, it sums to 33. 26, 33. Numbers very much connected to several flags. Remember, he's German-American. The American flag was established June 14th, 1777, a date with 33 numerology. Germany's flag at the end of the war was established May 23rd, 1949, a date with 33 numerology. And again, that war, World War II, was centered around what Germany was doing. Nazis equals 33. Hitler came to power in 33 in Berlin. Berlin has the gematria of 33. Remember, at the end of the war, the United States brought all the German Nazi scientists over to America and employed them with all sorts of mischievous tasks. Building bombs, changing the frequency of sound waves for how sound was broadcast, experimenting with chemicals, fluoride. People aren't getting it, Truth Seeker. There really was never a division among governments between the Confederate States and the federal United States. There never really was a division among power between Germany, United States, UK, etc. during World War II. This is what they've done throughout history to control population, to control agenda. Create war on falsities, false boogeymen, and they've waged them all by the numbers. All throughout history. God, they give us this portrait on Wikipedia from the year 67. Another number they love. So there's Nikola Marshall, the man who designed the Confederate flag, German-American. Let's just look at the war itself, though, Truth Seeker. This should paint a picture. The Confederate States were named Dixie. There were 11 states. 11. Master number 11. Very important in numerology. The Civil War began in 1861, Truth Seeker, and there was something I was thinking about more deeply on this. Civil War has a gematria of 43, and church in symbol English equals 61. In the recent church shooting in South Carolina, which is very much connected to this Confederate flag debate, the number 43 was coded over and over. And of course, it was a church shooting. Charleston equals 43. The shooter's name, date of birth was April 3rd, 4/3. Out of the 9 people he killed, the person getting the most attention has a name Pinckney with a gematria of 43. He died 43 days before turning 42 years old. A lot of 43. The word massacre equals 43. That church shooting was connected to the September 15th, 1963 church bombing of Birmingham, Alabama. In that bombing, the number 43 was coded throughout. Civil War, race war, division, major connections here. So the Civil War and the formation of Dixie, all this came to be after the election of Lincoln, the 16th president. Only the numbers 16, 16, and 90, 90 have gematria of 33. In the case of 16 with the S exception, it also sums to 42. Just point out that war has a simple English gematria of 42. Anyhow, the Confederate States, Truth Seeker, they adopted their Constitution on March 11th, 311. 311, a very important number to this nation, especially when we're talking about war. USA, U is the 21st letter, 2 plus 1 is 3, S is the 19th letter, 1 plus 9 is 0. Again, 1 plus 0 is 1. In numerology, you reduce bigger numbers to single digits. And then A is the first letter. USA equals 311. And I want to show you something in time, Truth Seeker. Rhode Island, the 13th and final colony before the United States, has a gematria of 311. It was established on a date with 33 numerology. Rhode Island, foreshadowing the United States of America, what was coming. Why? Because we're all living out a planned agenda. I guarantee you from the beginning, they had a plan for 50 states for America. America, in simple English gematria, equals 50. So anyhow, they make their constitution on 3/11/1861. And the war begins April 12th, 1861. This is a span of 32 days later. The word America with Pythagorean gematria equals 32. The numerology of 7/4/1776. If you add it digit for digit, 7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6 equals 32. UK, who we supposedly got our independence from, in simple English gematria equals 32. And here we find the number having to do very much with this Civil War. If you also count the end date, if you want to do it that way, it's 33 days. Again, another number we're seeing a lot in these Confederate states. Dixie, Pythagorean gematria of 33, simple English, 51. Number connected to conspiracy, connected to Freemasonry, and more. Notice the word Confederate with simple English gematria sums to 51. Or with Pythagorean gematria sums to 51, like Dixie. And with simple English gematria, 96, like Freemason. This date, Truth Seeker, also with the Constitution for the Confederate States, March 11th, 1861. If you do this digit for digit, or if you add 3 plus 11 plus 18 plus 61, another way of extracting a date numerology, it sums to 93. Very important number. United States of America Pythagorean gematria is 84, with the S exception for capital S, 93. And with all of it together, double S exception, 102. Very important numbers. They come up over and over, very much connected to the country. Lincoln himself would be assassinated on April 15th, 65 at the end of the war. Remember, he was for the beginning of the war and the end of the war. He was assassinated in a Baptist church that became a theater built in 1833. Anyhow, the date he died on, April 15th, 65, has numerology of 84 connecting to the country. And if you do it the full method, it sums to 102, another number connected to the country. Obama, the current president, is from the land of Lincoln. His birthday is August 4th, 84. The name Obama in Jewish gematria sums to 84. And of course, this debate's coming up while Obama is the president. Last year on his birthday, James Brady was shot and killed, the man who saved Reagan, the president during the year 84. Truth Seeker, the war began, the Civil War, at Fort Sumter. The battle that began the war, there wasn't a single fatality. No one died, except a horse. A horse was killed, but no people. Fort Sumter has a gematria of 47, extremely important number. Think about the nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month. Battle of Fort Sumter, as it's known, sums to 74. 47, 74. Numbers we find in the recent church shooting in Charleston, South Carolina. On this same meridian, very close to Fort Sumter. And again, 47, 74, numbers heavily coded into the recent church shooting, which is very much sparking this debate. The leader of the Confederate States was Robert E. Lee in Pythagorean gematria, 51, connecting to Confederate, connecting to Dixie. In simple English gematria, his name sums to 105. April 15th is the 105th day of the year, Truth Seeker. Lincoln was shot April 14th, died April 15th, the 105th day of the year. The name Robert E. Lee equals 105. Robert E. Lee would die in October, the only month with 33 gematria. Of course, the name Robert also has that gematria of 33. Robert in Pythagorean gematria is 33. He dies in October, the month we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day, CC. C is the third letter. He came over here and named the people Indian. The word Indian has a gematria of 33. If you really think these sailors didn't know they sailed across the ocean and he thought he was in India, you're believing the lie, which is what history is. A series of lies. So anyway, Truth Seeker, we talked about all the 33 on the Confederate flag, on our own flag. The Star-Spangled Banner is based on the defense of Fort McHenry, which is spelled with a C, not the way we spell it in America. But notice defense with a C sums to 33. With an S, 31. The ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry are 31 through 33. The defense of Fort McHenry. That's what the Star-Spangled Banner is based on. The Star-Spangled Banner, again, has that gematria of 88. The man who designed the Confederate flag, Nicola Marshall, died at the age of 88 years old. The same stuff over and over. Uncle Sam, George Washington, both sum to 88. Just want to remind you that. Just like the words poison and program. George Washington was a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. With regards to Washington State, Truth Seeker, it's the 42nd state. George Washington was born on the 42nd day of the year on the calendar of his time. The name Washington has a Pythagorean gematria of 49. Green, in simple English gematria, sums to 49. Out of the 50 states, the only state with a green flag is Washington. And what else is interesting is if you look up the official stats on this symbol takes up 33% of the flag. Excuse me, Truth Seeker, got interrupted by my neighbor's phone call. I'll just throw it in because we were talking about 33. It was my neighbor Kim who just called me. If there's any Kims out there, I'll teach you something about your name. It too has that gematria of 33, like Sam. Just a little fun fact right there. Now let's continue on with the lesson. So we're talking about Washington State, all the coding within this flag. Again, George Washington, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. Truth Seeker, pretty much whenever you see a flag with the red, white, and blue on it, you know it's the Freemasons. What we're looking at here is the flag of Thailand. Thailand changed its name from Siam to Thailand on June 23rd, 1939. This is a date with 33 numerology, just like the gematria of the new name Thailand. See how it syncs up? This is how the Masons do it all throughout history. In the United States, only 3 states have 33 names. The first, Delaware. The 6th, Massachusetts. And the 50th and final, Hawaii, where supposedly Obama's from. Only those 3 sum to 33. Of the first 13 colonies, only 3 were established on 33 dates. The first, Delaware, the 9th, New Hampshire, and the 13th and final, Rhode Island. 333 establishments, 333 names. This is how the Masons do it. By the numbers. Very purposeful. Truth Seeker, let's close out by watching the mainstream news coverage of what they're saying about the Confederate flag. And as we watch it, let's just reflect on our own flag and how these parallels connect. Here we go. Notice this video they made 1 minute and 15 seconds long. The word killing equals 115. And again, that's what all this flag worship really comes back to. Because what are they ultimately trying to teach you by having you pledge to a flag as a child and think about flags? They're having you build up this thing in your mind about your nation being the best, the greatest, worshiping symbols. When really all these people want to do is divide and conquer. Don't forget it. That divide and conquer often ends up in killing. They go to Charleston right away. Remember, Charleston equals 43. Civil War equals 43. Truth Seeker, I did a post on Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They had a police officer shooting a little more than a month ago. Please watch that post. It got trolled harder than any post I've ever done. I think I exposed something very real in that post. Please watch that. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Look it up. It is worth your time. Did you see that, True Seeker? You see what they snuck in there? Where'd it go? Let me see. Maybe I gotta go back a second further. There it is. February 6th, 1833. February is 2, 6. Remember, flag equals 26. And then all the 33 connections. That's the same year that the Baptist church was built that Lincoln was assassinated in. The one that Obama reopened on the 42nd day of the year, February 11th, 2009. The same place that hadn't been reopened since the year MLK was assassinated. He was assassinated on April 4th, 4-4. Obama's the 44th president. Please see my post on Obama and the Civil Rights Act and Martin Luther King Jr. if you haven't done that already. This stuff's not an accident, Truth Seeker. This is how they roll. They put it there for a reason. Yeah, I agree. Let's take down the flag. Let's take down the U.S. flag. Let's wake up and see what we're really living in. A world of purposeful torment with stories such as this. A world coded with numerology and gematria. A lot of people think this gematria is a joke, Truth Seeker, but again, these numbers, 74, they tell the story. Notice that English equals 74. Gematria equals 74. Well, if you spell it right, Truth Seeker. Gematria, 74. Even connected to horse. Isn't that something? Remember, the only thing to die in the Battle of Fort Sumter, which started the Civil War, was a horse. I didn't even realize that. That makes me laugh. I bet you it's all part of the code, Truth Seeker. Sick stuff. All right, until next time. Encore Truth Seeker, I want to make one more point. With regards to this New World Order, wars, coding by the same numbers, the Mexican-American War ended on February 2nd once upon a time. February 2nd is the 33rd day of the year. And there's something interesting about the three countries that make up this continent. Mexico equals 33. Mexican equals 33. With regards to Canada, it doesn't equal 33, but Canadian equals 33. And with regards to the United States of America, there's all sorts of 33 coding, but the word American's a little bit different. It equals 37, like liberty. But just think about that. Mexican and Canadian, the northern and southern borders, both with 33. Canada uses the symbol, the maple leaf. Maple's a 47 word. These same Masonic numbers over and over. Again, the Mexican-American War ended on the 33rd day of the year. Once upon a time in history, one of the greatest Mexican villains for the United States of America was named Pancho Villa, a name with 113 gematria, like mainstream, like dishonest. This is just what it's been all throughout history, Truth Seeker. Hoaxes and divisions by the numbers, with agents. So I just want to add that in there. It's deeper than the Confederate flag. It's deeper than the Civil War. It's deeper than this continent. As I've documented in so many posts on this blog, all sorts of international wars have began and end on dates with 33 numerology. Proof of the real conspiracy that has taken a grasp of this world and its people, and that so many of us have succumbed to. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.